Hey, what's up everyone? I'm back with a requested video. I mentioned yesterday that I changed things up a bit and today's the day. As you may have already guessed by the title, we'll be taking a look at what's on my Galaxy S7 Edge, at least for the summer of 2016. I've gotten a lot of questions on my icon packs, the wallpapers, and just my setup in general. So today we'll be covering exactly what's on my phone. Enan here from Droid Mania. So let's get to it, shall we? And let me start by saying that I finally got the Galaxy S7 Edge in black. I had the titanium silver initially, but I thought this one just looked so much better. And by better, I mean as I compare it to the previous black versions of Samsung devices. Now when I'm looking at my theme, I think that it just looks that much better. I've already mentioned several times before that one of the very first things I do when I get a new Galaxy, no matter which one, is clean up TouchWiz as much as humanly possible. Starting from the top down, I've got a Zooper widget here. It's from the RL Zooper collection. Now to use this widget, you gotta have Zooper widget already installed, and I'll have the links down below just in case you don't. With a long press on the home screen, you can easily search for your widgets. They're usually in alphabetical order, so Zooper is going to be down at the bottom. For this clock widget, I selected a 3x2. Once you find the one you're looking for, you can drag it onto your home screen. Next, just give the widget a tap to go ahead and start things off. As you can see here, I've got several collections to choose from for the Zooper widget, but today we're going for the RL. And as I'm scrolling through here, you can see that there are several different styles of clock widgets and weather widgets to choose from. There are several different colors and styles, so there's probably something to choose from for most everyone. Right now, I've got a lime green and black theme going on, so I'm looking for something that'll go with that. Here's one, but let's look at a few more. I'm not such a big fan of the round clocks, and I passed one that just might work, so let's go with this. It's text-based, and I like how it looks. Just tap the widget to place it on your home screen, and then you'll be presented with several configurable options. If you're new to Zooper widget, what you really care about is scaling your widget to the appropriate size for your phone, and the on-tap action. When you're done, tap the back button to place the widget on your home screen. And I like how this one looks, so we can get rid of the one I have here. And now that that's done, I can drag this widget up to the top. And that's the beauty of having an Android phone. You can do exactly what you want, when you want. And with Nova Launcher, as you can see, resizing the widget is a simple task. And speaking of Nova Launcher, it's up next. I'll have this time coded in the description down below just in case it's a bit long for you. First off, let me say that when it comes to Nova Launcher, there's so many settings and configurable options that you can change that in today's video, we're not going to have time to go through all of them. But what I will do is show you how I'm configured and set up. There is a free version on the Play Store, but Prime will cost you a couple of bucks. I've had Nova Launcher for so long, so I can't remember exactly what the cost is. But in any case, the link's down below so you can check it out. Now with that said, let's get into my setup. Now I keep the icon for Nova settings in my dock, and that's because I'm always in there, because I like to change things up, keep it fresh. Under desktop, I use a 5x4 grid. In terms of the icon layout, I don't really change anything here, but let's take a look just so that you can see what's there. With other setups, I have gone in and adjusted the size here, but for this one, 100% is just fine. The next thing we'll take a look at here is the persistent search bar. I'm not using it with this setup, but there were some changes that were recently made for Android N. You're now able to style the Google logo, which is a feature that's newly added. You're also able to color the search bar. You can do that by tapping on the bar color here and selecting the color that you want. Next, we've got the page indicator. You've got a couple of choices here, but I like the 3 dots. The indicator color is also configurable. Oh, and make sure that as you're adding new apps from the Play Store that they're not being added to your home screen. I can't stand clutter. Under app and widget drawers, I use the same 5x4 grid here, just like I use on my home screen. I make sure that the carded background is off, at least for this setup. When I do have it on, I up the transparency. This way you can see the wallpaper I have coming through. The last thing I do here is change the scroll accent color to match whatever theme I'm going with. You may remember that I did have a dock at the bottom of my screen. There's 4 to choose from. You can also adjust the color as well as the transparency here. Now I'm not going to spend too much more time on Nova Launcher, but you get the idea. For this particular theme that I'm going with, I didn't need to change many of the default settings, so that's lucky for us, because we can move on. Under folders, I chose the grid, and what this means is this is how the icons are going to look inside of the folder. And for the background, of course I had to go with the end preview because that's the newest. And then finally I chose my color. Okay, so there's two more things that I want to show you about Nova Launcher. I do use a lot of the gestures here, so let's take a look at those. This is also where you'll come to turn on the OK Google hot word. Now let's go ahead and set up the gestures. When I swipe up anywhere on the screen, I like that to be set for Google Now. Swipe down is already set to expand notifications. When I double tap on the screen, I want that to be set for lock, so we can do that now. A swipe up with 2 fingers gets me into Nova settings. A swipe down with 2 fingers gets me into the app drawer. And the only other thing that I'll mention here is that when I pinch out, it'll open up recent apps. Okay, and we'll wrap up Nova Launcher by saying that I do like to back up my settings. This way they're easily transferable between devices. As you know, being a YouTube reviewer, I've got several phones on deck, so I need to easily be able to transfer my settings. I back them up to Google Drive. This way I can access them no matter what phone I'm using. It's very simple. I just tap on the Drive icon here. You can go with the name that Nova gives you or change it to something more familiar. And when you click on Save, your backup file is uploaded to Drive. Now that we've got my Nova setup out of the way, let's take a look at my home screens. The icon pack I'm using, they're called Wycons. Think white icons. I'll link those down below since we didn't cover those in Nova. Starting with the very left, up top, we've got my Spotify widget. I'm sure you're very familiar with this by now, so I don't need to spend a lot of time on it. It is my preferred streaming music app, and I use it all the time, across all my devices. The next widget I have here is called Dark Skies. I also ended up paying for this one, and that's because I like accurate weather information, and I want up-to-the-minute notifications. So far, I've been using this app for about a month or so. It's been pretty accurate in terms of the forecast and what's actually going on outside. I like that there's a weather map included here, as well as the fact that I can set up alerts for what I'm actually interested in. On the bottom of this page, I've also got icons for Shazam and Jet Audio. I like them there for easy access. On my third home page, I've got the Phoenix widget. This is another must-have widget for me, so I can keep up to date with what's happening on Twitter. The UI here is very nice and clean. I love the fact that you can theme it. Oh, and before I forget, I'll get to how I got my black keyboard in a moment. On my last home screen, I've got my month calendar widget. This helps me keep up to date at a glance. I always have so many things scheduled throughout the month, and this widget keeps them up in my face. This widget is also customizable. There's many themes that you can choose from as it relates to the calendar itself. Just head to your app drawer and open up the app. You'll find that there's several to choose from with the free version. Now I did remember paying for a few themes. I believe that they're also mixed in here, so there's several to choose from. And once you find one that you like, simply tap it to apply it. If you're interested in anything that I've shown thus far, check the description. The links are down below. Earlier, I mentioned I would come back to how I got that black keyboard on this phone, and you'll be happy to know that that's a theme that I got from the Samsung store. If you've already installed Nova Launcher like I did, from settings just head to personal and then themes. You can search the theme store, it's called Black Edition. If you like this theme, download it, install it, and apply. What I like about this theme is that it carries through every inch of the phone. As you can see here, it applies to the messaging app, as well as to the phone dialer. Doesn't matter whether you're making a phone call or a video call, the black holds true. And I gotta say, I really like the fact that when you're making a phone call, the dialer doesn't change back to that ugly Samsung green. This I really appreciate. You'll also see that the same applies when it comes to the alarm clock, the world clock, the stopwatch, and the timer. I'm definitely glad the theming has come. If you haven't checked out the theme store, you might want to give it a try. I'm just saying. In this video, I haven't really shown you any fancy wallpapers. I'm just going with the basic black here. Lately, if I'm not going with one of the wallpapers from the icon pack I purchased or downloaded, I'm heading over to my go-to app, which is Zedge. I can usually find 1, 2, or 5 wallpapers here to help change things up on my home screens. It's pretty easy to use, just tap the wallpaper. You then have choices to download it or set it. It's just that simple. We're just about at the end of this video, and this is where we get to some of my favorite apps that I have on my phone. If you've been following the channel for some time, then you know that I really like to read on my phone, and I can do this for hours on end. Kindle is my go-to app for this. At this point, I'd say I'm heavily vested in the Amazon ecosystem. From time to time, I also do a little gaming on my phone. This isn't something that's very big for me, but when I need to pass some time, it certainly gets me by. I usually have 2 or 3 games on my phone at any given point in time. Right now you're watching Shredded, and I go back and forth between this and Need for Speed Most Wanted. But the main thing that I do on this phone with the Super AMOLED display, of course, is get my Netflix in. It makes it so easy to binge watch and catch up on a full season of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. With a display like this, you can't help but to get sucked in. Yup, that's me for hours on end, just watching away. When it comes to the setup on my S7 Edge, I gotta say it's different than everyone else's, but that's the beauty of Android. On the outside, it may look kinda similar to everyone else's, but then I unlock my phone. And before I let you all go, and just because I didn't do this earlier, I figured I should cover the case that I actually have on this phone. This is the R-Just aluminum bumper. I really like this case because it has a distinct look about it, no one else has it, and my phone completely stands out. In my opinion, this case just makes the S7 Edge that much better. And it fits in your pockets too. What more could you ask for? Okay, so there you have it. What do you think of the setup on my Galaxy S7 Edge? Leave it in the comments below. I'm also curious to know your thoughts on the content and structure of this video, so be sure to leave your thoughts on that as well. If you've enjoyed this video, do leave a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button for more content like this. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in my next one.